analysis on the U.S. employment picture. We're joined by Guy Berger, economist at RBS. Guy, thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to be here, Michelle.
So, Guy, what do you make of these jobless claims? By definition, they tend to be very volatile. Some are saying they're a little lower because of the Veterans Day holiday.
Yep.
What's your take on the number?
Well, I think that's right. I think the Veterans Day holiday and just generally, around the holiday season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's Day, all the way through Martin Luther King Day, they do tend to be volatile. We tend to focus on the trends. And the reality there is it doesn't look like layoffs have changed that much since the summer. We had the brief spike during the shutdown, but the labor market seems like it's pretty much doing the same thing it's done all year, which is slow, gradual improvement, enough to push the unemployment rate down very gradually, not as fast as everyone would like. So
the number we're seeing, is that a lot due to seasonal hiring, retailers boosting staff ahead of the holiday season?
Well, I think that in reality, this holiday season looks a lot like the last few, which is, it's certainly not a gangbusters one. It's not bad, and it's enough to maybe prop consumer spending going forward, at a moderate pace. Not great, not bad.
Guy, which sectors are seeing the most job growth?
Well, I think that a lot of the job growth is in the services sector, which includes things like retail, leisure and hospitality, various services sectors, and also construction, which is, riding on the back of what until now has been a really good year for the housing market.
When we look at the job picture state by state, those states with the oil boom seem to be faring better than others. Which American states are struggling the most with employment right now?
Well, I think one of the interesting things is that the states that we sort of thought of as the sand states, the ones that were really struggling with the recession early on, are definitely doing much better to some degree because a lot of the headwinds they had early on are fading. They were in a really big hole. They're still digging their way out of it. So states like Nevada, Florida, have made quite a bit of recovery. But you're right that exactly the states that in some sense are really tapped into energy, like Texas, North Dakota, parts of Pennsylvania are doing really well. And I think that the reality is the whole country is gradually over time converging to this full employment goal that the Fed cares so much about.
Before we get to the Fed,
Sure.
Obamacare kicked in this month. Employers have been reluctant to add more than 50 employees because of the strain that it would put on them in terms of providing Obamacare. Have you seen that this has been a contributing factor?
No, I think the reality is it's kind of odd because everybody's so full of anecdotes about it, but the reality is the data hasn't shown that much. A lot of the sectors that you would think potentially be most sensitive in terms of hours haven't really, we haven't seen hours come down in those sectors as some people suggested to expect. A lot of the part-time numbers that people were trumpeting as indicating an impact from Obamacare have kind of washed out.
So what is holding employers back now? What is the #1 challenge for the labor force right now?
I think the #1 challenge for the labor force is the fact that the overall economy is not growing that fast. And I think without demand growing very fast, employers don't want to hire that many workers. When demand growth finally picks up, then I think we're going to see employment growth pick up as well. But right now we're seeing a tepid economy, and that's leading to only moderate job gains.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
You're very welcome.